Have you ever wondered whether luck is a matter of destiny or a deal with the devil? Let us introduce you to Jack, a man whose fame was known far and wide in a small town nestled among the rolling hills. Jack, with his winning smile and silver tongue, was the embodiment of fortune. Every card turned in his favor, every roll of the dice a stroke of luck. His name was synonymous with serendipity, his life a testament to the charms of chance. But in the radiant glow of his prosperity, a chilling shadow lurked, a specter that seemed to whisper of a secret pact. For Jack's good fortune wasn't just a fluke of fate. It was a double-edged sword, a blessing with a curse. Every stroke of good luck, every windfall, every triumph was shadowed by a dark echo, a chilling reminder of a pact made long ago. Legend had it, Jack had struck a deal with the devil. This was no ordinary tale of luck or happenstance, but a story steeped in the eerie lore of the supernatural. It was whispered among the townsfolk that Jack, our seemingly fortunate protagonist, had made a pact with the devil himself. A Faustian bargain, born out of desperation and despair, signed in blood and sealed with a promise of boundless luck. The legend painted a vivid picture. Imagine a man at his wit's end, his back against the wall. The world seemed to have turned its back on Jack, and in his desperation, he reached out into the shadows where the devil was waiting. With a sly grin and a contract in hand, the devil proposed a trade. The deal was simple, yet chilling. Jack's soul in exchange for a life filled with prosperity and success. For a while it seemed as though Jack had struck gold. His life was transformed almost overnight. His pockets were filled with coins, his fields with the richest crops, and his name echoed with reverence among the townsfolk. But this was not a gift freely given. It was a loan, and the devil was a harsh creditor. With every stroke of luck, a shadow stretched a bit longer, a chill in the air grew a bit colder. The price of his fortune was etched in the creeping darkness that began to cloud his vision, and the whispers that echoed in the silence of the night. Jack was living on borrowed time, and the devil was patient, watching, waiting. In the grand scheme of things, Jack's prosperity was but a fleeting moment, a blink amidst the eons. The devil's ledger was always open, and the ink in which Jack had signed his name was blood red. He had traded his soul for a life of prosperity, a life that was now beginning to feel like a gilded cage. In exchange for boundless luck, Jack had wagered his soul, and as the reality of his pact started to take root, Jack realized that even the luckiest man in town could not escape the devil's due. As time passed, Jack began to notice a change. A veil of darkness seemed to be slowly descending upon his world, twisting and warping the reality he once knew. The first signs were subtle, almost imperceptible. A black cat appearing from nowhere, crossing his path with a hiss and a glare. A mirror, once clear and reflective, now shattered, fracturing his image into 1,000 jagged shards. But these were just the beginning. The signs grew more ominous, more menacing. The once bountiful fields surrounding the town began to wither and die, the vibrant green stalks turning to a sickly yellow. The livestock, once healthy and robust, fell ill, their once vibrant eyes now dull with sickness. The town, once filled with laughter and cheer, was now awash with whispers of fear and discontent. It was as if a shadow had fallen over everything, casting a chill that seeped into the very marrow of their bones. Jack's luck, once a river of endless fortune, began to ebb away. His silver tongue lost its charm. His winning smile failed to bring him the luck it once did. His spirit, once as vibrant as the sun, began to wane, dimming like a candle at the end of its wick. Try as he might to shrug these signs off as mere coincidences, deep down Jack knew the truth. He could feel it, a sinister presence lurking in the shadows, a chilling whisper in the wind. The devil's hand was at work, pulling the strings of his fate, weaving a web of misfortune around him. His dreams, once filled with visions of success and prosperity, were now haunted by the choices he had made. He saw himself standing at the crossroads, a quill dripping with his own blood in his hand, his name etched forever in the devil's ledger. He could no longer outrun the shadow trailing him, a shadow with eyes as black as midnight. Jack was trapped, ensnared in a pact he had sealed with his own blood. The devil's hand was closing in, and Jack was left with the chilling realization that his fortune had run its course. Desperate to break free, Jack sought the town's wise woman. His journey took him deep into the heart of the forest, where the wise woman dwelled. Her home was a sanctuary of solitude, her life a tapestry of secrets and riddles. With a heavy heart, Jack knelt before her, his voice barely a whisper as he pleaded for her help. His words echoed through the silence, painting a picture of a man haunted by his past, ensnared by a pact made in desperation. He confessed to the Faustian bargain that had brought him boundless luck, but at the cost of his soul. "What can I do to reclaim my soul?" he asked, his eyes filled with a desperate hope. The wise woman, her gaze as deep and unfathomable as the forest itself, listened in silence. Her response, when it came, was a simple truth, as cutting as the winter wind. "Some debts," she said, her voice a quiet echo in the stillness, "can never be repaid." Her words sliced through Jack's hope, leaving him breathless. "Some bargains," she continued, her gaze never wavering, "could never be unmade." Her words hung heavy in the air, a chilling reminder of the price of Jack's pact. His plea for salvation was met with a harsh reality, a reality that some choices, once made, were irrevocable, and their consequences inescapable. The path to redemption was not a path of undoing, but of acceptance and atonement. And with that, Jack understood. Despite his desperation, despite his regret, there was no undoing the past. There was only moving forward. Some bargains could never be unmade. With a heavy heart and steely resolve, Jack returned to face his fate. The town square, once a place of joy and celebration, now stood as the stage for his redemption. Jack, once the luckiest man in town, found himself standing alone, facing the consequences of a pact made in desperation. In the silence, he made his vow. He pledged to atone for his sins, to make amends to those he had wronged. No longer would he rely on luck or charm, but on the strength of his will and the courage of his heart. His voice echoed through the square, reaching out to the townsfolk hidden in the shadows. He spoke of his regret, his wish to undo the harm he had caused. He promised to live with honor and humility, to serve as a beacon of hope rather than a symbol of greed. And as he spoke, something shifted. The shadows seemed to recede. The chill in the air lessened. The devil's hand, once a looming presence, started to fade away. In the depths of despair, Jack had found his fortune, not in the glitter of gold or the sparkle of silver, but in the strength of his spirit and the power of redemption. He had learned that true wealth was not tangible, but resided within the heart. And so, Jack stood, unbroken and resolute, facing the fate he had once feared. He had learned that true fortune was not measured in gold or silver, but in the strength of the human spirit and the power of redemption.